Rosie. Welcome to Handpan Fundamentals. This is Dan.
Hello there. How's it going?
He's very good at this. Dan, what is Busk the Globe?
Busk the Globe is my project to travel the entire world, 6 years, 6 continents, without flying, and all with the money that I make performing on the street as I go.
Did the pandemic interrupt your plans in any way?
You're a very perceptive individual there, yes.
COVID aside, how does it work?
There's a certain amount of cash you got to make to stay alive. That's just the nature of the 21st century existence. If I can, I try to do, rather than I'm going to play for half an hour and just do my thing. If you're a solicitor, if you're a teacher, you don't just teach for half an hour or solicit for half an hour. You need to get the proper hours in. And what I found to be the most rewarding experiences, though most challenging experiences, is just to get out and stay the hell out and just keep on scratching away for 7 hours straight. I've got about 3.5 hours of repertoire at the moment that you know that just cycles through, and that you basically have to kind of trick yourself to keep on playing. So you sort of, I'm not making as much as I normally would. Well, you better keep on playing then. Or, I'm making loads more than I normally would. What? Better keep on playing then. Or, it's all right. Like, this is fine today. I might as well keep on playing. And just finding the connections with, where you are and the little conversations that you have with people. These little connections that you make with total strangers. Some of these stories can be absolutely amazing and inspiring, and sometimes it's just a bit of abuse hurled at you, but it's amusing, and just allowing that to just continue to propel you forwards and just keep on making those noises.
But 7 hours, was it hard for you when you first started playing for 7 hours in a row?
Well, it was a process.
Mm-hmm.
It started off in Brighton.
Yeah.
Do you remember the bar farms in the lanes?
Yeah.
There's a big sign now that says no busking on that corner.
Especially Dan Hodd.
Especially Dan Hodd. I do wonder if I was maybe a part of the reason for it coming out that way. I don't know. And this one jeweler came out and was like, look, it's all very nice. I think he gave us £5 or something. He said, but if I have to hear you guys playing those 3 songs in that exact same order any longer, I'm going to have to blow my top off. Please learn some new stuff. And so it started off as sort of, okay, we've got 3 songs and we'll play for half an hour, to just gradually, over time, building and seeing what a fuller performance could do financially, what it could do for connecting with what you're actually doing and the performing that you're doing. When you do a gig, you don't just do one song and then just feel like, oh, that was great. Yeah. You want to put on a proper performance, don't you?
So what do you need? How many songs do you need to know before you go out busking?
3. But keep on moving spots, because otherwise the local jewelers will get quite upset. And it doesn't have to be memorised necessarily. I think it's obviously better when you're able to connect specifically with people. You can look people in the eyes and really make that kind of connection. But even if you have to have a standout at first, just to get started and just feel it out. The hardest thing is that first step of, I feel really nervous. What if my friend walks past? Or what if I play a wrong note? It's all kind of valid. I understand that could be an uncomfortable thing, but it's just like jumping into the sea when you know it's bloody freezing. That first millisecond is going to be pretty ghastly, potentially. But then you're in and you go, well, what was all the fuss about? This is fine.
But so how do you stay connected to people for a performance of that length?
I think it depends massively on what your busking setup is. I am unamplified. I do not use any backing tracks. I have gone full medieval vibes, just really stripped back and basic. If there's more of you, people are more likely to gather. But the thing I do on my own is, it's more incidental, I suppose, incidental music almost, that I'm trying to accompany people's day. I'm just trying to make a nice little bit of positivity, just add a little creativity and beauty in somebody's day that might flick me a quid because they felt slightly moved by that, and that's just cheered them up a tiny bit.
So you mentioned already what you travel with, and obviously you travel around on your bike. So super lightweight is kind of key for you.
Sure.
Right. What are your essential items for busking?
For busking?
one.
Absolutely. No, this was a thing that I came up with. So I did my degree in York, and that was when I really sort of discovered full-time busking as a viable career, for lack of anything else. And I was sort of seeing there was a couple of guys in York that literally busk with pianos, and they drag these bloody pianos on reinforced wheels all the way out to the main square to play, and it is effective in certain ways, but it's a bloody headache, logistically speaking, and I didn't want any of the faff. But that I found that this very stripped back approach means that if a set isn't if an acoustic isn't working quite right for me, if a scenario or a city isn't quite working for me, no problem. I can pack down in seconds, sling the violin in the back, get on the bike and just go. So I can fit everything in that case, and it's, you know, you've got these massive violin cases as well. I wanted the smallest case possible to be able to just fit everything I need. And so inside I've got my fancy fairy lights. Not sure how visible this would be in this light. Not very. I think the batteries have died. My card reader. This is a chain. This will be a change. At the moment, no one uses it. But remember, savvy buskers can take card nowadays.
Yes.
You know, business cards. I've got my signs that I always post, that I always stick up. CDs that I sell and stuff like that. But it all fits. All of these bits and bobs fit in the case. Being able to fit everything on the bicycle, to be able to get up, get off, and go to the next town with no stress, no problems. I can't drive, so I don't have that option, which a lot of buskers, they drive around in a little van and live in a van, which is another brilliant approach.
Okay, so let's just think. Okay, so someone has never busked before. How would you explain the realities of what it's like and hopefully encourage them to do it? What do they need to know before they go out there?
Get your instrument, get 3 songs learnt. If you're nervous, get a friend along with you to play with you, or to just to watch, to be a bit of an audience for you. Enjoy yourself. Don't think about the money. Think about the fact that you're putting on a performance and that you're contributing to society. You are positively, as hard as it can be when you have these fights with neighbours or police tell you to stop or whatever happens, you've got to remember that you are ultimately, undeniably a force for good, even if you're not very good, even if this is your first time and you've only got 3 chords learned or whatever. It's a positive thing you're putting out there. At the end of the day, there will always, haters gonna hate, you know, it's gonna happen, but that you can't let that get you down. That's all part of it. That person needs to express themselves that way. If you're playing classical music, it's probably because that person hasn't ever been lucky enough to be able to interact with classical music before. And thank God that you've provided the opportunity for that person to have a direct interaction with it. Okay, it didn't go well, but that's better than no Mozart at all, in a way. And who knows, the 5th time that bloke walks down the street and hears some Mozart, maybe he won't yell about it, or maybe he'll actually stop and listen and be like, it's not bad actually, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, yeah, do you want to put a coin or 2 in the case just to kind of get the ball rolling? And yeah, it's just trying not to get demotivated. You don't have to play for 7 hours the first time either. Like,
I mean, but how do you cope with, you know, if it's been an hour or 2 hours and you haven't got any money into your case at that point? Do you feel like giving up, or do you just move on, or how do you deal with that?
It depends massively, because you will have sessions like that where it is not going well, and sometimes whatever the combination of stimuli are, it'll tell you to just, you'll be telling yourself, right, okay, it's time to stop, and you will. And there's better things to be doing. It's pissing it down with rain. You're not earning anything. To know when it's time to stop, it is really, really hard. And each person will, you know, it's to each their own with that. My uncle's a busker and had found such impossible stamina capacity to just keep on playing, even if the money wasn't even dropping. Because I guess it's that you might have found yourself in a scenario where the acoustic is so bad, the ambience is so bad, the movement of the people is so dreadful, the mood just isn't right, that you will never be learning. But it's also possible that it's just, you've hit a bit of a lull. And I do find this quite often, that you play a good set, you've found the right spot, but you've been playing for 2 hours, and then you notice that for the next half hour, or even an hour, that you're earning barely anything. But it's being able to understand that, okay, this is just a lull, because it will come back, and then it often does, except for when it doesn't. And then when it doesn't, it's knowing why it hasn't.
Yeah.
Because if it's market day and market's finished, it's 1 p.m, the market is done. Okay, everything has wound down. The city has basically died. It's time to go home. But if it's a busy street in Brighton or whatever, and the money stopped flowing, you can just intellectualize that one and think, well, what has everyone in Brighton walked past me? No, clearly not. So the money will come back. It's just that it comes and it goes.
And obviously, being outside, so for my instrument, if it gets wet, it's okay, it can have a wipe down as long as I dry it out properly. Right. Obviously, other instruments, you've got wood going on. How do you deal with bad weather, hot or cold?
Yeah, I mean, no, you're a really lucky bugger. I would say that the handpan is probably quite a robust instrument for that kind of stuff. I don't use this violin. I use a far more sturdy instrument that can get beaten about. You know, it is a tough life to do full-time busking for the instrument. You know, when you get such crazy heat at times, it starts pissing it down with rain so suddenly that you haven't had time to be able to do anything about it. You can try to look for cover, obviously, you know, in little alcoves in front of a shop, or if there's an awning or whatever. Some of my favourite spots are these sort of memorial arches, for example, because you get this amazing acoustic through the arch, and if it starts to piss it down with rain, okay, you might have lost most of your audience, but you've still got a protection from the rain at the very least, and that lovely acoustic to remind you that, oh no, it sounds very nice today, it's fine. I haven't found the best solution beyond, okay, pack it up or wait it out. Yeah. Here's your umbrella, you just go sit there. Minute cast is quite good for giving a, not that accurate, but a rough idea of, in 20 minutes it'll probably be better. And it's not, but maybe it is. You know, that can help for sort of planning your office hours a little bit, you know? Yeah. But no, stringed instruments are a bit of a nightmare. They are living, breathing things, and you've got to take care of them because they will get damaged, and mine has got damaged many, many times.
And it really is about the connection. And it's just that moment of, like, someone saying, I'm really enjoying it, is so powerful and potent. And it's like we kind of really equate money, how much money someone gives to how much they've enjoyed something.
They've enjoyed it. Yeah.
The value of it in that way. But it's like you can feel that emotional connection in it. You can measure it in a very different way. It's not about the...
Absolutely. Yeah. You've got to consider the relativity of what money means to that person and their own financial circumstances, and some of the warmer moments that I've known that keep me inspired to keep on playing, which in turn means that you're gonna get your just rewards by earning more later, have come from people that haven't given me anything, that have come and said, hey, they're giving me so much more by just playing. Look, I was so moved by what you did just there. That was really, really important. Or, you know, oh, that song, that was my dad's favourite song. His funeral was only a couple of weeks ago or whatever. These kinds of impossibly warm experiences where you've just really connected with a complete stranger like that on such a one-on-one level.
We don't get to do that. We don't get to hang out. And especially that's something I've lacked during the pandemic so much, is meeting new strangers, hanging out with people I didn't already know.
Yes, absolutely. And it's one of the enormous benefits that come through it. And a reason that I know I will never be able to fully hang up the busking gear, because just feeling that, just being able to just have a chat with a total stranger, to feel that you're doing a little bit of a service there as a community musician or whatever you want to call it, it's amazing.
And I think because you and I were both really lucky to have a really great kind of classical education. We met we hung out in youth orchestras together in Brighton and all of that. But I've never felt like music should be stuck in a concert hall. Like, I think it has to be alive and it has to be breathing, and it's all about the audience that's listening to it. And I think nowhere is that more true than on the streets. Absolutely. Where it's not even, like, they didn't even ask to hear it, but you're sort of giving it to them. Yeah. And I guess, so my final question probably is, how does busking make you a better musician / a better person?
It does not make you a better musician in a technical sense. I am a worse musician technically now than I've ever been, really. You know, you get lazy, you fall into routines, you end up forcing out making as much noise as you can because that's what translates, you know. But I think when it comes to actual empathy as a musician, actual connection to the music, to the people, it's unbelievable how you develop that way. And the last couple of months have just been quite challenging, getting things settled in Marseille, and coming back to do this project with the street orchestra, you know, which go by such similar ethos to those that I hold on the street, and by the sounds of it, those that you hold as well, about bringing classical music out of the concert hall. And you know, music for everyone anywhere is the whole ethos there, and it's beautiful. We were doing this session, and I sort of just put up my hand, and I was like, well, look, can we put the music stands down and really just take a minute and just really feel this and do another run like that? And so we did, and it just had me in impossible floods of tears, because it has been a while, and it's that level of musical connection that I think you really do hone when you are working on the street for a long time, and that you're really, really properly connecting on a one-on-one level with total strangers all of the time. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's like coming down to the core of what the point of music is, which is communication.
Absolutely. No bullshit, no pretension, nothing that you can't. You know, it's all accessible to everyone who's open to hear it. And if you're not open to hear it, that's okay as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's just what makes street performing so beautiful, and for that reason that I could just never, I don't know, could ever give it up, you know.
Well, you don't have to.
Well, no, but I mean, it does get tiring.
Wicked. Well, this is Dan Hodd. He is a wicked cool person. You can find out more about his things on the internet. And if you're thinking about doing busking, you should do it.
Yeah, do it.
You should do it. Let's just fill the streets with music. And like, you don't have to be perfect, but you should just go out and enjoy yourself. And you'll learn so much about yourself from the first one. I'd say like the first time going out busking is the most terrifying time. And it gets easier and easier and easier. Do you get nervous now when you do it?
No. You just get on.
It's just going to work, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just another day at the office, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. Bye. That was great. I'm really interested to see what I can do with that. This one. That's me. Ugh. Whoops. It's sort of fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm a professional.
Wait, this is live, right?
No. Well, I'll cut it all out.
You can cut that bit out. Yeah.